Chapter 501 to 502, Vanguard. Zhu Zheng thought of Bailey Chongqing's evaluation of Zhang Yi and couldn't help but sigh. This person puts personal interests first, and is indeed not suitable to be absorbed into my Blizzard City. Lan Xinqing, the secretary next to him, heard this and immediately came over and said with a smile, after the previous zombie-tide turmoil, Tianhai City is now almost abandoned. Not only are there few living people, but the major forces are also seriously damaged. With their current strength, they can't take on the work of maintaining stability in the region at all. Now that Zhang Yi's performance is unsatisfactory again, why not consider supporting a group of new forces? Zhu Zheng heard this and his eyebrows trembled. In fact, he was already a little moved. The huge Tianhai City was originally a super city with a population of 20 million. The resources of the city are also very rich. But now, the population is declining and the major forces guarding it are unable to govern except Zhang Yi's team. It is better to introduce forces from other cities. On the one hand, it can stabilize the stability of the Tianhai area, and on the other hand, it can also give Zhang Yi a check and balance to prevent him from dominating Tianhai City alone. To put it bluntly, it was because of Zhang Yi's solitary style that Zhu Zheng didn't like him. He tapped his hands on the table and said slowly, "This matter can be included in the plan. It just so happens that there are 10 forces participating in the mission in Linhai City this time. When the mission is completed, there will not be enough territory in Linhai City to distribute, so we can introduce a few forces to Tianhai City, so that it will be easy to handle." The two of them casually divided Tianhai City, like a cake. In fact, for Zhang Yi, this doesn't matter. Anyway, his team is small and only needs 2 territories in Lujiang District and Xishan District. No matter how much Zhu Zheng tosses, it has nothing to do with him, and it affects the interests of the other 3. However, if anyone dares to snatch food from his mouth, haha. Zhang Yi gave face to the Jiangnan District, you can come. But now that you are here, can you still leave? At this time, Zhu Zheng received a report from the front desk. Commander, Captain Deng Shintong of the Tianxian squad wants to see you. Zhu Zheng heard this and raised his hand and said, "Let him in." Lan Xinqing smiled and said, "Deng Shintong is probably here to ask for a fight." The Tianxian squad led by Deng Shintong is the most famous in Blizzard City. Because Deng Shintong is young, strong, and warlike. He is always the most active person in carrying out tasks, eager to make achievements and make a name for himself. Now he has been on the top of the Blizzard City scoreboard for nearly 2 months. As a result, many people in Blizzard City believe that he is the best player in the Jiangnan region. Coupled with his excellent background and handsome appearance, he was once supported by most residents of Tianhai City. Even many people believe that once Zhu Zheng retreats to the second line one day, Deng Shintong will take over the position of regional commander. Facing this young genius, Zhu Zheng also admires him very much. After a while, Deng Shintong passed through several doors and entered Zhu Zheng's office. As soon as he came over, he asked Zhu Zheng, "Commander, why didn't you let us go to carry out this mission?" Although the number of alien teams sent this time is large, it is obvious that the other party is not an ordinary alien organization. If they really want to escape, the forces in the outer city can't catch them at all. Deng Shintong said with some contempt, "After all, they are not professional, and they fight with each other, and it is even more difficult to unite and cooperate." But after hearing this, Zhu Zheng laughed. He leaned back on the sofa and asked casually, "Do you know much about Eclipse Moon?" Deng Shintong opened his mouth but didn't say anything. They had never had contact with the group of Ronin from Japan, and they couldn't get any intelligence. Zhu Zheng took a deep breath and said, "Nowadays, Japan is divided into 2 factions, Kanto and Kansai. One is the Izumo in Kanto, and the other is the Pelican in Kansai. And the Eclipse Group is a Ronin group that runs rampant in Kanto. Even the Izumo organization, which controls most of the official power in Kanto, is helpless against them. From this, it can be seen that the strength of this group of Ronin is very strong, even comparable to your investigation teams." Zhu Zheng stared at Deng Shintong. His eyes became serious. "Before getting accurate information, I can't let you take risks. After all, the 6 major investigation teams are the pillars of Blizzard City. Deng Shintong frowned. Neon is just a small country. What level can the rampant alien organization there be? Zhu Zheng shook his head and looked at Deng Shintong helplessly. Don't underestimate your opponents. To underestimate them is to underestimate yourself. Even during the Patriotic War, our losses against Neon were 5-1, or even 9-1. We can despise the enemy strategically, but we must take the enemy seriously tactically. Don't be careless. Deng Shintong calmed down and thought about it secretly. Although Neon's land area is not large, it is also a province with hundreds of millions of people. According to this ratio, it is not surprising that many powerful aliens were born from it. Deng Shintong even joked. He thought that the Japanese had always been abnormal, and it was normal for them to be stronger after the mutation. He understood Zhu Zheng's purpose. So, you mean to let the forces in the outer city go to Linhai City first, in fact, to let them obtain information about Eclipse Moon? Zhu Zheng nodded approvingly. Yes, that's exactly the purpose. Of course, it would be best if they could successfully get rid of this group of aliens. But even if they fail, at least they can get some things from Eclipse Moon. At that time, they will also be included in your credit book. Deng Shintong understood Zhu Zheng's thoughts and calmed down. It's just that I think it's difficult to do it with the strength of those people. Somehow, Zhang Yi's figure emerged in Deng Shintong's mind. Among those forces in the outer city, there are not many people who can catch his eye, and Zhang Yi is undoubtedly the most outstanding one. Because he beat Wu Di. Deng Shintong couldn't help asking, is Zhang Yi from Tianhai City going? Hearing Deng Shintong asking about Zhang Yi, Deng Shintong, Lan Xinqing, and Sun Lushuan were all a little surprised. This arrogant and proud captain of the God team rarely hears other people's names from his mouth. Zhu Zheng was a little unhappy. That guy, he didn't even sign up for this operation. How cunning! Deng Shintong's eyes flashed, but he smiled. It's better to say that he is very smart. At least he knows that this mission is not that simple. Zhu Zheng obviously didn't like this statement. He crossed his hands on his chest and said with a stern face, if everyone is as self-centered as him, then the Superpower Federation will not be able to continue. Zhu Zheng is a soldier. Soldiers believe in unconditional obedience to orders, and the only principle of action is to act according to the will of the top. But Deng Shintong is not, and Zhang Yi is not either. So Deng Shintong not only does not think Zhang Yi is rebellious, but appreciates his intelligence. Deng Shintong uses people as long as they have talents, and as for the rest, he can tolerate them. After all, Deng Shintong is an excellent leader. Excellent leaders are good at discovering the strengths of their subordinates and letting them drive them better. Dear viewers, it's not finished yet. Thanks for staying tuned. Please subscribe and comment. It motivates me to publish more story videos.